guys, any day the APC decides that terrorism will be stopped in Nigeria, I mean, we are going to see the end of this menace. The APC is not serious in fighting terrorism. Because tell me why Bello Metawalle, the former governor of the Zamfara state, has been dragged, you know, for having links with these terrorists. And still, the Tinubu's government is still keeping him in power. Now, take a look at these headlines. One of the terrorist leaders came out, you know, in a current trending video saying that he actually met with the former governor. And this headline by Sahara Reporter says, notorious bandit leader Bello Tuji admits meeting Zamfara ex-governor Metawalle. Others call for their arrest. Hey, the terror guys are now the one asking for their arrest. And now this one is coming from the north. Northern Coalition condemns links between Defense Minister Metawalle, bandit leaders in Zamfara, call for National Assembly probe. We must say a very big kudos to this Northern Coalition, because I don't think we need to see seeing them being silent in the midst of all this terrorism ravaging Nigeria. So the Northern Coalition is now the one calling for probe by the National Assembly. I hope Akpabio is not going to sweep this one under the carpet, because it has to do with an APC member, because all they are thinking about is 2027 and not how Nigerians can really celebrate their Christmas in peace. Now, this headline here also says that notorious bandit leader Bello Tuji admits meeting Zamfara ex-governor Metawalle. So guys, a whole lot is happening. I'm just going to allow you to take a look at these videos just for you to know that, see, any day the APC decides that we are going to see the end of this terrorism in Nigeria, I tell you it's going to end, because guess what? They were the ones that imported these guys from other countries to Nigeria, into Nigeria for election purposes. After election, they abandoned them unattended to, and they refused. These guys refused to go back to where they were coming from. Today, see how they are terrorizing Nigeria. And a minister has been pointed at all this while Tinubu is just silent. And now, I mean, there is a lot of outreach on the social media that the Tinubu's government must sack Bello Metawalle. I want you to take your time and really watch this video just for you to see what's happening in Nigeria and how the APC is really playing with the lives of people. Because tell me how this allegation has been going on for all this while and the APC is silent. People are saying that this man cannot be entrusted with classified documents and information of the Nigerian people. Somebody who has links with terrorists. Take your time, watch these videos, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Thank you. Now take a look.
Allah, if Matawalle did not leave that position as the state minister of defense, that is to say, Tinubu is also part of the factors, the elements that is promoting and encouraging banditry in Nigeria. Let me say again, if this man did not leave that seat, I am telling you, that is to say, Tinubu is the #1 person encouraging banditry in Nigeria. Because I'm wondering why this person, with all this, is not even no more an allegation now. In short, Sheikh Murtala started. Now, his special assistant is even coming out with evidence of how he has bought cars, how he has actually pampered these bandits. And at the end of the day, you still have a government allowing this kind of person to remain in government? What? Well, the fact is, well, I want everybody to know, and the international community to be aware as well, that this man should not be trusted with classified security informations as far as Nigeria is concerned, because he has a heavy allegation that linked him to all this banditry and terrorism everywhere. So why should it be? And in the spirit of, if you think it's a fight to just kick out a northerner, bring another same northerner and a Muslim, and at the same time, nobody has a problem with that. But why should this person, with so much in his hands, still remains and be privileged to highly classified security informations in the country? For God's sake.
Nigerians, so this is the biggest trending story right now on the internet. The biggest trending story right now. I tell you for free. If Nigeria is a working country, this man here, Bello Metawalle, would have been arrested and investigated. But trust me, they want to sweep it under the carpet again, but we will not allow them. Now, this video, Nigerians, do well to share it. This is the first time I'll be begging you to share it. We need to have at least 10,000 shares in this video. 10,000 shares. 10,000 shares. Enough is enough. Arewa, this is an eye-opener. Enough is enough. At least 10,000 shares in this video. Now, this man here, this man in this video, his name is Musa Kamarawa. Although he did this video in Hausa, but I'll try my possible best to translate to English before I allow you to watch the video. He is the former SSA to Bello Matawalle when Bello Matawalle was the governor of Zamfara State. Remember that Bello Matawalle is now the current Minister of State of Defense in Nigeria. So this man came out to do this video after he saw a petition filed against Sheikh Asada. Sheikh Asada came out to accuse Bello Matawalle of buying cars for bandits. Sheikh Asada, he said Bello Matawalle bought cars for bandits. That is very sure. Now, after the video went viral, Bello Matawalle filed a petition against Sheikh Asada. After this man now, this Musa Kamarawa saw that petition in which Bello Matawalle filed against Sheikh Asada. He now came out to say, what the hell? Like, Bello Matawalle filing the petition as if what that Sheikh is saying is not true. That everything that Sheikh Asada said in that video is truth. That Bello Matawalle bought car for Ado Alero. He bought car for Kashala. He bought car for Bello Tuji. That he swear with his Quran. He swear with his Quran that this allegation against Bello Matawalle is truth. This is the video here. Not just that, oh, he even said Bello Matawalle built a house for Bello Tuji. That he personally, he was one of the engineers that started the building in the site. That he was one among the engineers that supervised the building of that house for Bello Tuji. Hey! Hey! He didn't even stop there. He went further to say that Bello Matawalle distributed 2,000 bags of rice to these bandits in the bush. Ado Alero, Kashala, Bello Tuji. That money was sent to his account. 42 million naira. He came, see what he came out with. He even came out with his bank statement. Nigerians, if this accusation, if Nigeria is a working country, if this country is a working country, Bello Matawalle will be arrested by now.
Assalamu alaikum. Where school children were abducted, and then the governor of the state is telling the president that few hours to when the children were abducted, somebody gave orders to withdraw security from that place, and they want to know who gave the orders. Until date, the president and commander-in-chief is not able to know who ordered troops out of the government secondary school in Kebbi State, or in places like Katsina, where security and insecurity officials are holding peace deals, and the terms of those meetings are being put together by the bandits. In fact, in Katsina, according to the report, one of the bandit leader, Jankari, instructed that the peace deal, the police officers who are coming should not come in uniform, should come in mufti. But guess what? The bandit leader came in the uniform of a slain police officer, ACP Dayi Aminu, to that so-called peace deal. That is where they are having stakeholder meetings. So those are the good things that are happening under the APC government. But let us not be fooled. The same issue that is happening, because everybody continues to say PDP, PDP. What exactly is going on in the PDP? What is the role of the serving minister for FCT in the PDP? What are the issues between the FCT minister and the Rivers State governor? So the former governor and the incumbent governor had issues, and instead of prevailing upon your subject, President Tinubu decided to illegitimately suspend an elected governor, declaring a state of emergencies for so-called reasons of insecurity. But somehow, more than 300 children were kidnapped from Niger State, and it has not been able to be a reason for why there should be a state of emergency. For in Katsina State, continuous banditry attacks and killings. And even I think my colleague is from Benue State, where more than 200 persons were slaughtered in Yelwata. The president visited it and could not visit the host community or the ground zero of the incident because the roads to that place were not good. This is the unfortunate leadership and the shameful kind of conduct that we glorify as leadership, and that is why why everybody is moving to the center. What exactly is at the center? A center of terrorism, of banditry, of a failed economy, of active politics, even when people are being killed. That is why the president can order troops to so-called defend democracy and constitutional authority in Benin Republic when terrorists are running rogue in his own country without the approval of the National Assembly. So as it is today, it is all politics. We understand the game of the APC to ensure, and that is why even the former chairman Oshomole said, when you come to our party, I mean, your sins are forgiven. What are the legal cases or graft cases of all governors or politicians who were in the opposition? What happened to them when they came to the ruling party? If we say this is not without any pressure.
Let me quickly throw a question at you now you're discussing. With high-profile defections reshaping the party landscapes, what effect could this have on the 2027 elections? And how might it influence voters' choices and democratic accountability?
It is simple. What the APC or the ruling party is trying to do is to create an imaginary victory before the elections happen. What will rig or what will make the 2027 elections be rigged was not because anybody was too powerful or they were too popular. It was because Nigerians had the cynicism of believing that the elections would never be free and fair. So a lot of Nigerians have given up on 2027 even before it will come. And then when you have political strongmen like governors of the state who have overwhelming influence on institutions, on the architecture of the electoral process and also security agencies, it becomes even more dire for the people. But all hope is not lost, because when it comes to elections, when multitude of people come out to vote and insist that their votes must count, it is almost impossible to rig through a determined people. The 2023 election results are clear for everybody to see. President Tinubu lost his home state of Lagos, lost Kanu, the highest voting bloc. The shenanigans that happened in Rivers State, lost Abuja, but somehow won the presidency. So the template has already been set and is only to be consolidated on.
Okay, let me get back to Dr. Dominic in the house, then we'll close with Napoleon. So, Dr. Dominic, let me ask you, for governors still in their first term and remaining in PDP, how strong is the pressure to defect, and what are the political risks if they resist? I'm talking about the remaining governors, the remaining PDP governors.
Like I told you, the political risks if they resist, or I mean, what do you mean by if they resist? Nobody is insisting that they must defect, but the situation.
No, there might be some pressure. They might feel the pressure.
Already pushing them.
They might feel the pressure.
No, I don't. Hold on. I don't think there is any pressure from any quarter. But what I'm telling you is the true reality. That look, the way PDP is today, as it is, it has been battered and factionalized. They cannot be able to field any candidate in 2027 because there will not be any chairman to sign their nomination form. If Simon Itrafiki sign a form, the wicked faction will also sign a form. And which one will INEC honor? It will result to court cases. So for them not to lose their mandate, they are defecting to the PDP now, to the APC.
It boils down to my question about pressure.
In January, Caleb of Taraba State will be defecting. Mufang of Plateau is on the way to APC. What would you see now? Again, this brings to question the leadership capability or credibility of opposition political leaders. I told you, I am a strong believer of viral oppositions. In 1999, I joined the AD, Action Alliance, AD. In 2003, I joined the APP. We navigated to CPC, and today we are in the APC. Why? Because I believe in the role of the opposition to advance governance in this country. Today, we are beginning to have what you call one-party system or one-party state, and you want to blame the president. No, I'm blaming the opposition leaders, the likes of Atiku Abubakar, the likes of Peter Obi, and the rest of them. Those are the kind of people, those are the opposition leaders leaders I am blaming, because they have failed in their responsibility to put the opposition party together. You know, they have failed in their responsibility to provide leadership for opposition party. Go to any country of the world where there is viral opposition, you cannot make but mention the opposition political leaders in those countries that are making things happen for the opposition political parties. And the president rightly said, and I agree with him, in June when he made a statement in the National Assembly,
please, can I
that you cannot, you know, shut the door against people that are coming on into the party, because it will amount to, you know, political malpractice. So you don't blame the president because, you know, people are jumping ship from the sinking ship to the APC ship, which is sailing to,
thank you so much,
perhaps El Dorado.
Please, we are pressed for time. I want to ask Mr. Napoleon one last question. Now, with this trend that is going on now, how can we guarantee the protection of the democratic protection for citizens when come 2027? How can we guarantee that their votes will count? Very briefly, please.
2027 is as safe as 2023. Just like the activists in the studio said, that our President Ahmed Bola Tinubu lost his home state, Lagos. That shows the level of his fairness. If he had wanted to rig the election, he would have started from Lagos. Charity begins from home. So also evil should also begin from home. If Tinubu had wanted to rig 2023 election, the rigging would have started from Lagos, his home state. So but because he wanted to be fair and good,
would you comfortably,
he lost in Lagos and he acknowledged the loss.
Okay, would you comfortably say that? The
second point I also want us to make, please, we are putting too much emphasis on the governors.
Okay.
The governors are not more powerful than the people. They are not.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The governor is just one person.
Okay.
If the people want free and fair election, they will get it, irrespective of what a single man calls.
So you're saying 2023 was a
experience the freest of the election.
Can I close with you saying that
the first question will be, what constitutional law or what law establishes the office of the First Lady? The governor was the chief host of that event. He is in his state. He has his pattern of communicating with his people. Do we agree or we may not agree? It's a different conversation. But two things stand out for me. What was the need for that event? It goes to show you that it was the 10-year coronation of the leader, and we are in this period where more than 100 of our children from Niger State are still with terrorists, and the NSA said they are being well taken care of. So in Nigeria, leaders can feast even when the people are being slain to death.
So you reckon that the convention itself was insensitive?
I mean, you could have scaled it down. It were possible that leaders will look at the, tempo in the country and say, look, for some time, let us also go with the mood of the people. But then again, we went into festivities and feasting, and then the First Lady will decide to do it. But for the First Lady, I think that she's consistent with her actions. Remember the Senate hearing, committee hearing on the questioning of Senator Elisha Obo when she was in the National Assembly. She was telling the then senator that he should put off his mic, and also that they had the capacity to suspend. She will have to be prevailed upon by the senator seated next to her, Senator Samigu, and the other senator. So, I mean, there is a track record of telling people to turn off their mics for her own to come up. And then you can also remember the case of Senator Smart Adeyemi speaking about insecurity, and the wife of the president says that, are you a wolf in sheep clothing, trying to send a message that, they were in one party, and probably that should not be the communication. So, it begs the question, what exactly do we stand for as a people? And then again, that the wife of the president is supposed to be a pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And there you had the governor singing a song that is Christian and praising God, and she had an issue with it. Maybe he would have sang at Now Mama Be That, they no get another one. Maybe that would have worked.
But do you think that she was also conscious of timing, and that was probably why she came across as a bit harsh?
Timing. I mean, she could have, an aide could have said that. What was the time she used with all of the protocol that they came and every of the other issues or, persons that were, spoken to or spoke at that event? It was the time of the governor allocated to him. As the chief host, he will connect with his people and pass his message. And when you see people show that level of, power or without restraint, it goes to tell you a deeper picture between the governor and the First Lady. The governor was speaking, it was his time. And then the First Lady saw that or felt that it was imperative for her to leave her seat and prevail on him.
But do you think there was also familiarity between them, and for her, she didn't think that she was stepping or crossing the boundaries because this was a person that she is quite familiar with?
Okay, if it was familiarity, maybe when they have a family meeting or a meeting amongst peers, then that can come to play. But when you have a function where there is media, where there are people and there is protocol, I think that it is more important the way leaders conduct themselves because they know that persons are watching, and it sets the tone for how persons take leadership in public office seriously. When a governor is speaking or when any leader at all is speaking, everyone will accord them the respect. If you know that you had a way or manner, a template with which you wanted the event to play out, it could have been discussed before that, not at that point. So across board, I think it's just a tale of recklessness. It's just the level of, lack of decorum and ethics that come with public office in Nigeria, that anybody can do anything. Anybody can. You remember the case of the hearing even at the Senate at some point, Honorable Minister, off your mic. So this thing is across board. The question is, for how long will Nigeria continue with this pattern of leadership until they know that this is an affliction to be liberated from?
Okay, thank you so much for that. Can we have Dominic in the house, please? Okay, Dominic, welcome.
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome to Perspectives. Okay, let me ask you. You just heard
thank you.
What Peter Aka just said so adamantly. So I want to ask you, when a non-elected figure publicly intervenes with an elected governor, what does this tell us about power dynamics and the limits of influence in Nigeria's political system?
All right, thank you so very much. Let me start by saying that whatever I'm going to say here, I'm not trying to justify the action of the First Lady, in that very occasion. But my understanding of that particular program, the 10th year coronation, either anniversary or whatever, and then in that program also is slotted an award or a chieftaincy title conferment on the First Lady. So the way I look at it, I see it as, partly her program. And like you rightly said, something would have informed that familiarity. She is familiar with the governor. I believe they are also family friends and stuff like that. That was why she could, intervene, perhaps to draw his attention to the fact that time is going, because you know that when personalities like this gather, there are a lot of programs that is scheduled for them to attend, for them to carry out and stuff like that. But then I believe that there was a breach of protocol there, which for me, it is not proper. She couldn't have, she shouldn't have, interrupted, the governor, or she would have scribbled a note to him, in a very polite way to draw his attention to the fact that time is going. But again, let's not, throw away the baby with the dirty water, because the office of the First Lady, has been, you are very much aware, they have been very, very, instrumental and, engaging in terms of, certain empowerment, for example, certain empowerment and interventions for women, way back from the time of, the wife of the late wife of the wife of the former military president Ibrahim Babangida, down to Abacha, down to Olusegun Obasanjo, to Yar'Adua, and to Jonathan, and most recently to President Muhammadu Buhari. There has been a lot of intervention that office has been able, to provide to Nigerian women by way of providing succor to them. The national hospital we have today is as a result of the initiative of either the wife of the First Lady, the wife of the Babangida or Abacha, that it came about. And we, subsequently we see a lot of intervention coming from, that office, even though it is not an elective office, it is not constitutional. But then I believe that we should not just throw, that away with the bathing water because of, the overriding influence that some of. Look, let me tell you. You see, I agree with with Peter Oka that there is need for Nigerians to rise in order to begin to interrogate our leaders. The truth of the matter is that we have not come to a situation where democracy will be practiced in Nigeria. What we have today in Nigeria is a state-captured kind of democracy. When you go to the local government, see the attitude of our local government chairman. When you go to the senatorial or House of Representative constituency, look at their attitude. Come to the state governors, I mean, it's even unbearing. So what I am saying is that there is need for us Nigerians to begin to interrogate the leadership, their attitude, their influence over and above, institution and the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you.
So what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to justify her action. I'm not trying to say she was right, but the truth of the matter is that there is this kind of familiarity that, she deployed into it, which couldn't have. She would have scribbled a note, to pass across to him to draw his attention if time was not, if he was consuming too much of the time.
Okay, let me get back to Peter on this. Peter, the First Lady said critics in her response to the incident. Rather than an apology, this was her response. She said critics scrutinize every step, amplify minor steps, and turn them into needless controversy.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So how does this response reflect concerning the APC party and its approach in dealing with opposition parties? What's your take on that?
A total disconnect from the reality on ground of the people. And it is unfortunate that we are in a country where we can attribute national development or things that should be taken care of by government that are elected to being pet projects of offices that are not elected. The wife of the president is not a legally recognized office, but the current wife of the president, they have been moving around the country with a, so-called renewed hope project. That was what went to Delta. All of these events and issues have an opaque kind of, budgetary system. Nobody knows what is exactly financing this. Remember that the wife of the president had at some point visited Obafemi Awolowo University and donated from herself 1 billion to that institution. The wife of the president. Imagine the wife of the US president donating $1 billion to any school. From what business, from what profit? So when we see things like this, it is important that we call to question. And then you look at the budget, where the budget is saying that let us budget 1.5 billion for purchase of SUVs for the office of the First Lady. Do not forget that the First Lady and the husband are former governors and First Lady of a state, living on a Lagos state pension that includes overseas medical treatment for unspecified number of family members. So Nigeria is the gift that continues giving. So the leaders do not make sacrifices, but they compound the situation or make an already bad situation even more complex. If the First Lady truly shows empathy, let us remember the time under the former President Jonathan when Chibok girls were abducted. A lot of Nigerians berated the former First Lady Patience Jonathan, but she cried out. She said, now the First Lady is begging you to find your children. Will you keep quiet? It showed empathy. Since children have been taken from Kebbi, people were killed in Kwara, the children were taken from Niger. What statement or what event has the First Lady held through the same Renewed Hope initiative to work and cooperate with the office of the husband to help to rescue the children? So is everything in Nigeria about politics? Is it always about optics? How it reflects to our being re-elected or how it keeps or hold us to power? I think that as a people, Nigeria must know that it is important to hold public office holders to the highest ethical standard. And when Nigerians do so, they should not pass a subtle message undermining the grievances of Nigerians and their conducts.
Okay. It's interesting that you said that, but let's even go back to the incident itself. Governor Adeleke was quite relatively calm. So do you think his calmness was fear of provoking the opposition party or stepping on the toes stepping on the toes of the First Lady and also by extension APC? Why do you think his composure was the way it was?
I mean, there could be many factors that played into how the governor decided to handle it. And this is not to say we are completely giving a pass to however the governor decides to interact with his people. One of the problems with our country is that even though we constitutionally are supposed to be a secular state, there is a mix of religion and politics, so we do not know how to differentiate the two. So even in a political or an official event, we want to sing praises to God, and it depends on everybody's, belief and religion, and how the governor, relates with and interacts with his people. But then again, it begs the question, could there also be political undertone in the decision of how they decided to, relate with themselves, or how the First Lady? Remember that the governor of Osun State recently defected to the Accord Party. There had been pressures. He was in the PDP. The PDP have decided, is in splinter right now, partly because somebody who is serving in the cabinet of the current president as a minister is also in the PDP. So there are factions there, and it has made it almost not a viable vehicle for the governor to, pursue his ambition, and has ported to another party. And therefore, it is possible that whatever that could be the political undertones to it. So I think that there will be a lot of calculations going on in the mind of the governor, but by and large, it was important that one person should show decorum. If everybody begins to, I would imagine him responding to say, I would not turn off the mic, or it would have become an exchange between the wife of the president and the governor.
So one person had to rise above.
One person had to rise above and, become the bigger person. And if the governor is, so be it. The important thing is that Nigerians must not just pay attention to events like this. We must draw it to the general conduct of public office holders whose lives are being run with taxpayer money. There is an expectation that you must live up to, and that must be drawn to the quality of life and governance that they give to the people.
Okay, good. It's good that you said that. Can we have Napoleon? I hear Napoleon is in the house now. Can we have him, please? Okay, Napoleon, welcome to...
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Welcome to Perspective. You missed a bit of the conversation, but you can please catch up. Now, let me ask you, considering this incident that happened between the First Lady and Governor Adeleke, some argue that political affiliation, region, or even religious undertones may have influenced the First Lady's response. Would her reaction have been different if they were from the same party? Also, could Governor Adeleke's defection to the Accord Party instead of joining APC have shaped the tone of her response?
Absolutely not what your interpretation is. It is about the protocol. The woman in question is not just Remi Tinubu. She represented and still represents the first family. So wherever she goes on official duties, it is expected that the highest protocol and decorum be accorded to her as a member of the first family. If you watch the clip very well, with an unbiased mindset, you will discover that the governor, with due respect, the governor of Osun State, abused the protocol. That function was not a special number function wherein an individual will be expected to sing praises. But the governor of Osun State, being who he is, he abused that protocol. He threw caution to the world. The first family, you would know, is a very busy person. I am sure there were other series of engagements booked in for that day. Being a governor, you should be familiar with the timing and the scheduling. When it is time to dance, you dance. And when it is time for a serious business, you do a serious business and leave the stage. We should not read all manner of meanings into what transpired.
Yeah, but some would argue...
There should be a time for dancing and a time for serious business. Yeah, that was what the First Lady was trying to pass across to the governor. This time is not a time for singing. It's not a time for trivialities.
Listen, Mr.
It's a time for us to dwell on why we are here. Please conclude the business and leave the stage.
Yeah, but Mr. Napoleon, some would argue... That
is the message.
Some would argue that her approach was wrong. Even if what she meant or what she was trying to achieve or the goal she was trying to achieve was right, her approach was wrong. That is what caused this controversy in the first place. her approach was wrong. And this is why one cannot but ask the question I asked you, which you haven't quite answered. If he was a member of her party, would she have been that aggressive? If Dr. Adeleke was a member of her party, would she have been that aggressive with him? It's the aggression in her approach.
The actions that happen has nothing to do with the political affiliation. Whether Adeleke is a member of a APP, APC, or Accord, or whatever it is, the central message should not be lost on us.
Okay, well,
as a governor, you listen to the message, and the message only must not come from the lips alone. Before the First Lady stood up from her seat, her body language suggested that her time was unduly being wasted. You could see the facial expression. If the governor was truly a man of protocol, he should be able to read the body language of the First Lady, her facial expression, to say, oh, come on, Governor, you are deviating. Well, you are wasting a lot of time.
This is a goal.
You are trivializing the essence of the function.
Where was she in a hurry to? What have they achieved in the past 2 years?
It was when the governor refused to pick the message
but somebody
that she
Peter just
asked intervene personally.
Peter just asked you a question. So let Peter just ask you a question, and if you can quickly answer that before we round up.
Because I think it's unfortunate that we are talking about the First Lady representing the First family and all of the issues that are going on. She was in a state for an event. If you knew that you had other functions, and then again they have been busy for 2 years, going to 3 years, and the only thing that Nigeria has benefited from this administration is increase in insecurity, battered economy, taxation left, right, and center, and all of the misgovernance and bad governance. So at a point where you are invited to event to take your whatever chieftaincy title, because for Nigerian leaders everything has to be politics, was it necessary that even if a message was to be sent to the governor, being the chief executive of the state, there should be a certain level of decorum that the wife of the president should understand that should be accorded to the office of the governor? Imagine a First Lady of a different country doing that to the husband if he travels to a different country and is giving a statement, the wife of another president. Will the First Lady who did that to Governor Adeleke, if they were in the same party as you asked, or if it were probably, let's say, a northern governor, would this same action or the same approach be also implemented for that kind of person? Let us not justify what is injustifiable. The conduct was wrong. They can do better, but it goes beyond the First Lady. It goes to all leaders.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to a break right now, then we'll get on to our second topic. Welcome back to Perspectives on Arise News. So for our second segment, we're going to discuss the defection of the Governor of Rivers State. Governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, this week defected to All Progressive Congress after many months of internal party squabbles within the People's Democratic Party. After announcing his defection to adoring supporters, Governor Fubara then launched into a specially composed song in praise of his newfound mentor and President of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu.
If Fubara they tell you something, now this is the second answer. If you they support Tinubu, no follow corner. If they hear what they talk, we they support Tinubu, we know they follow corner. That is the second answer. I'm going to take that one.
Everybody sing now, sing Fubara, tell me something. Sing Fubara, tell me something. If you support you, don't follow corner. Sing Fubara, tell me something.
Thank you.
Peter, question one.
That video, which I could not but smile at it. So when politics is driven by survival rather than mandate, how does governing quality suffer? And what is the collateral damage done in this elite power plays?
The collateral damage is what we are seeing in Nigeria today. the rise of insecurity, a poor economy. Today, the 2025 budget is not implemented. 2026 budget has not been submitted. Nigeria is running almost on autopilot. These unfortunate incidents will continue for as long as we permit it. The question we are going to ask, because my thoughts and prayers are with the whole of Rivers people and also Nigerians by extension, what exactly is the grouse between the incumbent Rivers State governor and the former governor? We have not still come to what led us to where we are today. And today, the governor has moved to the APC. So as it is right now, it is almost an entire complete state capture. If this government had invested half of the time they use in politicking, in governance, they would have probably done well. But this government is the only government that came in 2023, and by 2023, there were billboards of re-election for 2027, meaning politics started immediately they got into office. Now, the question will be, why is everybody defecting to the ruling party? That should be the question. Senator Henry Seraki Dixon rightly said it. All they need is for federal fraud. Let INEC help you to write results. Let the judiciary, you know you're able to buy them. Then you know that you control law enforcement and all of that. Because if you are with the people and the people are with you, you do not need governors to be with you before you can win an election. But unfortunately, that is the Nigerian situation.
It's a survival.
It is a survival. And that is why I continue to say that Nigerians must make 2027 the people's opposition, because the only confidence of the current ruling party is in a compromised INEC and a compromised judiciary. If free and fair elections are held today, before 1 o'clock on election day, the defeat of the current government will be announced.
And it won't matter what party you're in.
It does not matter. If the current government is serious and knows that they are truly popular, let President Tinubu come out and commit to free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections with electoral reforms to know that the vote of the people will count, because there is an antecedent. But today, what do we have rather? An INEC chairman that conducted an election that was seemingly spoken to have, a group of European observers that what they came to do was a crime watch and not an electoral monitoring. After receiving more than 313 billion, Mahmoud Yakubu said there was a glitch. Guess what? He is being nominated to become an ambassador a few weeks after retirement, after spending 10 years in office. So all of what you are seeing, the shenanigans you are seeing, it is simple. If the people are not with you, let us buy the power brokers and the gatekeepers in the state. So what happens? It is able to play the way Rivers State went to in 2023. What exactly happened with the Rivers State result? Because do not forget, 2015, Jonathan versus Buhari, Jonathan won Rivers with 1.4 million votes. 2019, Atiku versus Buhari, Atiku won with more than 420,000 votes. 2023, Obi, Atiku, Kwankwaso and Tinubu, the winner of that election won with less than 200,000 votes. What happened in Rivers State? Did the electorate shrink or did they increase in 8 years? So it is the hatchet jobs that politicians are ready to carry out. That is why everybody is fleeing and potting, so that if you cannot control the people, then ensure that we take every step to control that so-called criminal structure to subvert the will of the people. So for Rivers State, unfortunately, the real victims is not Wike, not Fubara, not the sole administrator that has done his own and has gone. It is the Rivers State people. Until we come to a consensus where power comes directly from the people, where the people chose their leaders, we will continue to see these shenanigans.
Okay. Let's get to, thank you so much for that. Let's get to Dominic in the house, please. Okay, so...
Yeah, thank you very much. Ruth, please, give me just a minute. Let me conclude my thought on the other segment. I want to use this opportunity to commend, Governor Adeleke for handling the matter the way he really handled it. If he had handled it to the negative, honestly, it would have snowballed into something.
Okay, thank you for that.
I also agree with the First Lady that people are waiting to see you make mistakes and then, make money with it. Peter is aware. He's a social media follower. Yeah. When you make mistakes, as me and you, we are having this interview now, the moment you make a statement that didn't go down well with Nigerians, social media influencers, bloggers will pick it and begin to trend with it on YouTube, on Instagram and all of that, and that is generating the money.
Thank you, Dominic.
Now, coming back to the issue of the
I haven't even asked you the question yet. I haven't asked you your question yet, so calm down.
Okay, so, go ahead, please.
Governor Fubara's defection is being framed as if you can't beat them, join them, just like Peter reiterated. So what does this reveal about the current nature of political survival in
For Governor Fubara, I think his defection is justifiable. If you are familiar with our electoral act, if you are familiar with our party's constitutions, I mean, when I say party constitution, whether PDP, APC, ABGA, SDP, ADC, whatever party you belong to, and you are familiar with the electoral act, you will understand that you actually need a platform to be able to run your election. You see, the way PDP is today, I told people anybody on the platform of PDP will lose his ticket because he's not going to have, a substantive nomination, because it is the chairman of that party that will nominate, candidate. So today, who is the chairman of PDP that can nominate any candidate for 2023? We have different factions now. Saminu Turaki is claiming to be the chairman on one hand. The Wike faction is also on the other hand, trying to, scuttle every, the convention that has taken place in Ibadan and stuff like that. So for me, those defecting from from PDP to APC across the state, they are doing that for a justifiable reason. But looking at it beyond that, I see it from, differently from the way Nigerians sees it. I see it from at least 2 or 3 different perspectives. Number one is regional alliance. I told people that 2027 is going to whip up the politics of regional politics, regional alliance, because the moment President President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in, there were this kind of, and the moment El-Rufai was not nominated as a minister, there was this kind of narrative that was being sold out in the north against the president. And if you are in the shoe of Mr. President, you will have no choice but to begin to mobilize your region to back you up. So I see from that regional perspective, regional alliance, that most of the governors today in the south, almost all the southern states are in the kitty of APC. That is to talk about the regional alliance. Another perspective is perhaps they are seeing, the good things that Mr. President is doing, and they said, no, we have no choice but to support it. My fear about the Muslim ticket, when I critique it in 2023, is what is playing out today. Just few days ago, I saw an article written by one Mohammed Bello Doka, on the handle of Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, which is divisive, which is ridiculous and absurd. What is that article talking about? He's talking about, is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu trying to weaken the Muslim North, or is a coincidence? Now, this kind of article are very, very divisive. It has pinched the Christians and the Muslims against each other, because in 2023, I told them, let's not play into the galaxy where we begin to see the Muslim North or the Muslim Christian South as we are more in voting population than, either the Muslim North or Muslim South. And that is what is playing out today. Today, we are seeing certain narratives that is being whipped up. You will agree with me that if you go to the northern region today, a lot of persons, and that is the concern. Mr. President is very concerned about it, because people feel that the North are not benefiting. Just in that article I read, and the writer was saying that one project in Lagos surpassed the 19 states, what is this called? Security vote, one project in Lagos. These are some of the narrative that is being chunked out there, and people are believing them. People are trying to key and align with such kind of thing. Okay, so for me, I think for some of the governors, are defecting to APC, they have a justifiable reason to do that, because bet me, and I can bet with any amount with this, in 2027, PDP will not have a platform, to anybody in PDP will not be able to have a platform to run. Whether governor, rep, senate, presidential, they will not be able to have a platform to run on, except this, crisis within the party is resolved. So there is every justifiable reason for them to come out and defect, so that they can secure their mandate, they can secure their ticket. It may not be because they are being cajoled. It is because of the fear of what I'm saying, that in 2027, they may not have a ticket to do that.
Thank you, Dominic, for that. But let me get to Napoleon in the house, please. Now, Napoleon, I want to ask, to what extent, you just heard what Dr. Dominic said, but really, To what extent are these defections truly voluntary political choices? Doesn't this suggest that Nigeria is fast becoming a de facto one-party state?
I totally disagree with that sentiment. The one-party.
Yeah, but we have. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
So I asked, I said, is Nigeria fast becoming a de facto one-party state? Are these defections truly voluntarily or purely for self-interest? Because as it is now, we have 26 states that are APC. So how can you explain that Nigeria is not fast becoming a one-party state without statistics? With those statistics?
The defection is absolutely voluntary. Under our law, we still have freedom of association. Politicians or other citizens are free to associate and assemble themselves under any platform. And then, just like what is happening to the PDP currently, which is self-inflicting, it's only a mad person that will wait and see danger coming his or her way and not take action. If those in PDP that are still aspiring to contest for elected positions and they are not taking any action today, then you can imagine the kind of persons they are. Fubara is no more of PDP than Atiku. Where is Atiku today? The first decision a man can take is self-preservation. You must be preserved, you must be alive, you must be safe first before you can situate and protect the general rights and the interests of the masses. Legally speaking, PDP may not be in a position to sponsor candidates for any elected position in 2027. Do you want the current politicians under the fold of the tattered PDP to be stranded? The answer is no. Fubara is highly enlightened. Nobody can cajole him. The president cannot cajole him. He has enough resources to stand on his feet. Under our law, we don't have a provision for independent candidacy. No matter how good you are as a leader, you must belong to a political party. He has done his calculation perfectly and conclude that, oh, my people, the people of River State, for me to continue to be in a place to protect your interest and to render these laudable services for you, I must choose a viable platform.
So party principles don't come into play anymore?
That is what he has done.
Party principles don't come into play anymore?
And we seem to have forgotten what...
I said, so party principles that you believed in don't come into play anymore?
In 1999, how many were the governors under opposition? PDP had 27. In 2023, how many governors were under the platform of PDP? There were almost non-existent opposition governors. The activists and the politicians and the opposition who are crying now didn't cry then. President Tinubu is not cajoling anybody, is not capturing the state. People naturally go to where good things are happening.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
APC represent that, which is good.
Yes.
Peter just said interesting.
And you can see how the low and the mighty are gravitating the promised land of the APC.
Okay.
Please,
thank you.
Let us not take Nigerians
the decision is voluntary and is legal. It should be encouraged.
Let us not take Nigerians to be fools who
if Nigerian politicians can belong to one political party,
okay,
and give us what we desire, so be it.
So guys, like I said, any day APC decides that Nigeria is going to see the end to terrorism, I mean, it is going to end. Because tell me why Tinubu's body language is like he does not even care about what Nigerians are going through. Tell me the kind of body language that Tinubu's government puts up when it, as regards to insecurity. Tinubu does not really want to fight this insecurity. He prefers to just, watch things happen in the midst of all what we are seeing in this country. It's really, really so sad, that Nigerians have got to be experiencing this at such a time when we can actually use technology to end this menace without any waste of time. So guys, many Nigerians are not happy, and now that the Northerners are not the one adding their voices calling for Bello Metawalle to be probed by the National Assembly, by the Akpabio-led administration, the fear of Nigerians is, will the APC do what it's supposed to do? Will the APC be up on the game? At least for the first time, let Akpabio do what Nigerians want to see him do. Let Akpabio do what Nigerians would love to see him do. Enough of this, all these kind of things that we see everywhere, playing with lives of Nigerians. Until Trump came and spoke, Nigeria sat up. Akpabio and the National Assembly, they've been there. In the midst of this insecurity, they don't propose bill. They don't talk about how do we end it. They don't talk about using technology to track these people, using drones to fight them. They send the Nigerian military to go and die in a country like this. Can you imagine? They send the Nigerian military men to go and face terrorists in this 21st century without anything to like, you can imagine using drones. Look at what is it called? Ukraine is using to fight Russia. It's their drones. Your men must not be risked. The lives of your men must not be at risk for you to be able to, do the right thing. But, the body language of this government is that they don't care. They don't care. Now, I'm going to... let me read. There are some headlines there that are troubling. Say at least 10 people were killed and 12 injured in a mass shooting at the Jewish celebration of Hanukkah in Sydney. Police said authorities confirmed 9 victims and 1 shooter among the dead, with multiple police officers injured while responding. So guys, it's really, really so sad that the Jewish community is still facing this horror going on, in Australia. Is really, really so sad. This is what we are seeing about terrorism in the world. How can people be celebrating and you just go there to kill? So guys, a whole lot is happening in the world today. Terrorism has become another palaver in this world. Terrorism has become another palaver in this world. And that is why the Muslim community really need to sit up. They really need to review the Quran and it kind of give real interpretation to some of these aspects of the Quran that people believe, encourages them to kill. Because this is what is happening. You just want to take people's life because of, I don't know, religion or whatever. They now see, they see Israel as an enemy. It's really, really so sad, really, really sad. They came to where the Jews are doing their program and decided to kill them. This is really, really so sad. I mean, this is really, really so sad what we are seeing in the entire world. And that is what you see happening in Nigeria today. Many people were left dead. Islam is a world problem. That's what this person is saying. 2 Islamic terrorists were responsible for Hanukkah party attack in Sydney, Australia. Why does it so often involve Muslims? That is what you should be asking. Why is the Islam people terrorizing the world? This is just like the October 7th attack. That is what we are seeing again here. They just came into where people are having their party and decided to fire in Australia. So guys, that means that the Jews shouldn't have their peace. They shouldn't come out to celebrate. They shouldn't be doing anything against the world because they risk being attacked. So guys, for me, to solve the problem of terrorism in Nigeria, I think the Quran needs to be reviewed. The Quran is reviewed for people to better understand. Is it that actually the Quran says you should kill your fellow human being? Or the Quran should be banned, assuming the Quran is actually saying go and kill? Because I don't know how there's no freedom in the world again because of a particular religion. This is bad. I mean, it is wrong. Let's call it spade a spade. It is wrong. Now, this man say in Nigeria, Abu Ghazi is already popping champagne and thanking Allah for job well done. Oh, I remember Islam is a religion of peace. Willed folk from the pit of hell. They will soon hear from their nemesis, Natuhan. Yeah, that's their prime minister. We all know them. Please, everyone should be careful about Christmas. Avoid crowded places. In fact, celebrate your Christmas at home. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Now, this one says, one of the terrorists who opened fire on innocent civilians at Burundi Beach, his name is Naif Akram. As always, the usual suspect. Observation is not a crime. So this is the one of the people, I think they say it's from Pakistan or so. So guys, don't judge an entire religion based on how only 97% of them behave. So guys, it's really, really so sad that we have a religion that is really a threat to humanity, a threat to life. I mean, they don't pity for your life. This is what is happening today. It's really, really so sad that Israel has got to experience this kind of horror again after the October 7 attack, that Yatohan is still battling to revenge. Now we are seeing another one again. Now, there is another headline here saying only 22% of Nigerian hospitals have running water and only 12% out of 22% have clean running water and soap in the delivery room. This is really, really so sad. This is coming from Saraki's wife. You know, this is coming from former Senate President's wife, Saraki. I have nothing more to add. Okay. So, guys, one man was able to, like, run and meet the attacker. Good. So one man was able to meet the attacker, collected his gun and shot him dead. Oh, this is amazing. What a brave man. What a brave man. What a brave man. This is for... So guys, a whole lot is happening. This is Australia. How did Australia import terrorists that are there to kill people? It's really sad. This other headline here says, I saw Fulani herdsmen attack my community at home. They entered while my parents were sleeping, killing 7 people, including my parents, and I could do nothing. Resident of a village in Jos. Oh, glad to tell Jude. So guys, this is what we are saying. What a horror. What kind of religion is this? What kind of religion is this that promotes killing? I'm just wondering. The Muslim community should just review their Quran to know if that is actually what Muhammad is teaching them. Because I don't understand how you could become a threat to your own fellow human being. You should live and somebody else should die. So guys, and the world is in a total mess because of migration. People have moved to, look at what has just happened in Australia today. 10 people died. One of the attackers, 9 people among the Jewish community who came out to celebrate. It's heartbreaking. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.